to another Off the Record here at HC Media Radio. I am not your usual host. This is Tiffany Began Stearns with you today, and I have the very awesome, very wonderful Western Education in the house. Whoop whoop. Although I don't know if I want them here because I've been informed that the last studio they were in burned to the ground.
That's right.
So I'm a little afraid. So, and since this is a podcast, you won't actually get to see it be lit on fire, but I hope that doesn't happen.
We're so sorry, BU. We didn't do it.
Willie brought the gasoline, right?
It was like that when I got there.
Yeah, it was like that when we got there.
Oh, great. All right, so thanks, guys, for being here. Why don't you guys go around and introduce yourselves and say a little bit about yourselves?
I'll go first. All right, so my name's Giorgio. I play guitar and sing backup vocals for the band.
Awesome.
I'm Will. I play bass and do recording and production for the band.
Very cool.
I'm Greg. I sing the songs and play the keys.
All right, so kind of starting at the beginning here. How did all of you guys get into music? I have no musical talent whatsoever. How do you get into that? I played band in middle school, but that's about it.
You mean like how did we get into music, like individually?
Yeah, like, how...
Sure.
What, there had to have been some
I have
moment.
mine. I know my answer very specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, then you guys go ahead. 2004, I was either 11 or 12, depending on what month it was. The Killers' Somebody Told Me video came out, and I was really obsessed with that song. A very specific part of it I was really into, and I saw it on VH1 back when they actually played music. And so that kind of spurred my whole, what kind of music is this? And then I kind of went from there.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Anybody else have a moment? Like, that's great to have like a moment that you can pinpoint that you're like, yes, this is it. This is my moment that I love music.
Well, I was listening to music from really, really young, and my parents were both exposing me to music for a long time, and I took piano lessons. And then I picked up the bass around 8th grade when my mom asked me whether I wanted to play it. I didn't know what it was, so I said, okay, is that like what Aerosmith does? And she said, I think so. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And then I learned it wasn't really like a guitar, but I still liked it anyways.
That's a good story.
Yeah, mine's more similar to Greg's in the sense that when I was about, I don't know, like 10 or 11, I bought the cassette. I don't know what actually made me buy it. I think it was probably because the music video went on. And but for me, it wasn't the Killers. It was Blink-182, and it's when Enema of the State came out. Yeah. So I bought it on cassette, which shows you how far back this goes. Yeah.
What year was that?
It was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Maybe 2000, 2001. Could have even been 99. Yeah. It was pretty new. And yeah, it was funny because whenever I'd be in my parents' car, I would just rock that. Every single time I was in it, they had they had people in the car, or like they wanted to play. Like I didn't care. I was very stubborn.
Yep.
And I just on repeat. And it wasn't the cleanest like record either. You know those guys like. So you had my poor parents having to listen. But yeah, I guess that's where it all started for me. And I came from a somewhat musical family. My dad played guitar, still plays. My uncle. So I guess that's what made it happen. Went from there.
What was your favorite song on Enema of the State? That you would rock out. I'm assuming you were
I always
9,
to this day
10.
I still always play the Dumpweed riff, like even in practice. It's just fun to play. That's good.
I just want to picture you as like an 8th grader, just like rocking out and not knowing what you're saying.
Yeah, I remember I got the Mark Tom and Travis show, that live album.
That was my first Blink
album. Man, I asked my mom like. Because, that's like filthy. And I would ask her like all these questions, like, what does this mean? What is that? And I think at one point she just like took it away. Like,
that's a limited edition.
Dirty stuff, man.
Oh, my goodness.
You're never getting that record back. That's
like,
limited edition.
No.
Oh, my God. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems like you guys kind of all have similar tastes in music. So I'm assuming that played a part in you guys meeting or getting along. I want to know. I know on your Facebook page, someone had posted, I think it was Greg, you posted like an ad for like wanting to start a band.
Yeah, that's right.
So this was your brainchild.
Yeah. It was my freshman year, UMass Lowell. I had never been in a band before. Western Ed is the first go. And I always said, like, in high school, I want to make a band, and I'm not going to do it in high school. I'm going to make one in college and try to do this in one try. I didn't want to do the crappy bands you played with in high school sort of thing. I didn't even want to do that. So flash forward, freshman year of college, I put up a flyer in the UMass Lowell Music Building, and I said, singer, keyboard player, influences The Killers, Franz Ferdinand, The Strokes, New Order, The Smiths, things like that. And I remember, now this is great. The only two people who ever called me, keep in mind, there were no other inquiries, were these guys. That was it. So this is what you get.
Yep.
So
Wow.
Will actually called me first. George came a couple of months later.
I actually emailed you.
That's right. Oh, this is a good story
even
too.
get it right.
I had so Will and I were like looking for a guitar player forever, and I was like, I didn't like give up, but I hadn't checked my email in like 12 days, and George had emailed me, and I hadn't, and it was like 12 days old, and I'm like, oh no, I lost him. My only inquiry.
that one fish.
Yeah,
that got hooked.
the one, and that was it. These are the only two guys who ever called me.
Oh man.
And I remember, you go off of this too, because you were the first guy you ever called. And I remember the first thing I asked you was, I think at the time you were 23, 24.
25. I was in grad school at the time.
Yeah, and I was 18, and I was like, I'm only 18. Is that weird? And I remember you said, as long as you're cool, we can play. And that was it. Yeah. And you guys can go off of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just farting around in the studio when I saw that flyer. I was really into those same like synth pop bands at the time. Maybe not the Killers so much, but
Right.
I was big into like M83 and Cut Copy. I'm like, I will make him play that kind of music. That sounds good.
I think probably the New Order thing. Probably.
Yeah,
jumped
the New
out.
Order. We were
Yeah.
both big into New Order at that point. Still am. And then after that, we discovered we both like video games. So
And here we are.
yep.
And
Wow.
I don't know if you want to talk on this a little bit, George.
Yeah, just I think especially in our school, I didn't by that point in time. I think I was a sophomore, and I wanted to start a band ever since I entered college, and nobody kind of cited those people as their influences, and that was more geared towards the stuff I liked. A lot of the people I was friends with, they were either like heavy in jazz or metal or just things that I feel like there's like good of everything, but it wasn't my style, my preferable, what I would go with if I were to start my own band. So when I saw the influences, it was kind of like a no-brainer. I was like, oh, finally.
Right.
Let me email this kid so he could ignore me for a week and a half.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact. I think that is still the only flyer that had the Killers and the Strokes on it in Durgan Hall. That's got to be the only
probably.
one.
They're going to like laminate that.
Dude, I
bring that
found
back.
it. This is great. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, I saw
I
the
posted on
post.
Facebook. I found it, the original flyer, like a week ago. I had lost it for like 5 years.
Where was it?
It was literally in my college folder from freshman year that I got thrown in a pile. But I found it.
Memories.
Yeah, right?
So you answer this email or you make the phone call. So what was it like the first time you guys got together and played, or like was that like
Okay.
super awkward?
Here we
was
go.
that like what?
We can
Okay,
talk-
I like it.
Well, yeah, it would be two different
Here we go.
stories
Two different
because
stories.
I met you
Oh,
before.
okay.
and
I'm
then-
going to talk and then you guys follow
I
up
love
with
this.
this. Okay.
I love this already.
I met you first, and I did not want to play to start. I just wanted to kind of get a feel for, okay, I want to start a band, but what do you want to do?
It was kind of weird.
Right, it was kind of weird. Where I didn't play. I remember you brought your bass to Durgan, and I was like, no, we're not going to play. I just want to talk about music and what you like and what you want to do. We didn't even play.
This is like online dating.
I know.
I mean, I really wanted to do this right in one try.
Yeah.
Like, if if you had walked in the door and like you didn't have any ambition and didn't care and didn't want to do anything, I'd be like, well, I need to put the flyer back up. You know what I mean? That's all I remember from yours.
There were a few random people there, randos.
Right, right,
It was a pug.
right, right.
Nerd joke. But no, we jammed with a couple of them from like one session, and then I don't know, it was sort of aimless until we got George, and then we actually started writing the songs after that.
Right,
point.
right. I just kind of like, cherry pick some classmates to kind of, get in a room and play notes.
Yeah.
After Will
see what
joined.
happens.
Yeah.
The type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were just doing Killers covers at first.
Or something.
Basically.
I don't even know. Actually, okay.
Well, the first time I met you, it was the same scenario where you responded to the email, and then I think you told me to meet. There's this Durgan Hall is like the music room at UMass Lowell where we all went to school, and downstairs there's a little seating area near one of the concert halls, and I think you told me to meet there. So I finally met up with you, and we went to the second floor where there's a little kind of like conference table.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was. Basically like a conference. Like honestly, like we just got together. He said what he wanted to do. I said what I'd like to do. We talked about like genres.
Yeah.
It was like 5-year goals. It was kind of ridiculous.
No,
like,
I mean, and I think I remember this. You tell me what you remember. I remember we talked about, I think, two things specifically. We talked about the Strokes' Reptilia.
Did we?
And then I asked you about Franz Ferdinand, and you said, I like what they're about. That's all I remember. Not all I remember, but that's kind of, And and this is kind of not inappropriate, but it's a little bit like profiling. When I put out that ad, I said I want a slim guitar player who can pick and play riffs like a maniac, and that's exactly what I found.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hey.
and it just so happened where he's 100% Greek and so am I.
Oh
So
my
like our
God.
families got along like really well, like really right away. So that happened to work
I just
too.
love how serendipitous all of this is. Like it just seems
It
like
is.
this was made to be, like meant to be. This is
or
just so
or is it
wonderful.
very manufactured?
Or very. Did
Well-
you just have in your head? You're like, yes, this is what I want, and this is what I will.
I saw
get.
him walking down the hallway. I'm like, that's so perfect. Like, hopefully he
Oh
can
my
actually
God.
play.
I nailed it. Yeah.
No.
I remember, keep in mind, I didn't hear them play yet either. I'm just like, hopefully they can actually play. Yeah.
So that's what I want to know. The first time you guys played, like when was that moment where you were like, yes, this is going to work. This
You know
is
what?
going
I'm
to
gonna
be
bring
wonderful.
up a moment, and it was
Yes.
kind of later because
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of gets hazy for me because I forget.
I mean, at first, well, I want you to say your thing, but I just remember like the first few like actual meetings or get-togethers or rehearsals, what have you, we had. They weren't. I think we were just still trying to get a feel for who we are, like what kind of.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were like, okay, let's start writing this song. I have this. It was kind of like.
Keep in mind, we weren't friends.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, no,
that's a big
that's-
thing.
yeah.
Like I was 18, you were 24.
Yeah, that's
20,
an important thing
like,
to note as well. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
bands, that's their thing. Like they have this scene of friends through like, I don't know, like hanging out at parties and whatever, and they have the same preference in music, and they just make bands and things stem from there. We didn't. I mean, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
We are friends with plenty of bands that do that, but that's not the way it happened for us. So the flyer thing, which was a really like old school way to do it. I think it's kind of neat though. The way it worked out, yeah, our first meeting wasn't like that we knew each other for 10 years or anything like that. It was literally, it was the first of many things. Like, oh, I'm starting with a band with this. It was like Match.com for like a band.
Right. And like, I think what people have to understand is we kind of had to become friends on the way as well. You're trying to start a band, which is kind of a business, and you're trying to, write.
You gotta like the people.
You got to like the people
Yeah.
too. So it kind of like had to happen over time. And I think your question was, when did you
Yeah,
say
and
like
you
this
had
is it?
Yeah,
later.
what
My
was that?
answer for that was, okay, I met you guys pretty much right around the turn of 2011. And we kind of messed around for a couple of months, like had some demo ideas. Some of our early demos came out of that. And I think the day that I said, I think we have something good, we were in your parents' house, your room. And let me try to say this in an articulate way. One of our songs, Young Love, which is on our
It's
album.
my favorite song.
Right.
Oh my God.
It is
love
on our
that
album,
song.
Let Your Secrets Out. It was originally on our first EP, and there was I'm calling it the demo version now,
Yeah.
but it was the original version. We were in your parents' house, and you had the rest of the song except the chorus, and you and I did the chorus together. And then after I left, I said, now we have something I think I can get behind and we can play. And that was 2011 at some point.
Wow.
And that's when, at least for me, that's when I thought we had something that I think we can run with.
I know the other moment. I think this was more of a kind of instrumental musical moment, but
Yeah.
that the Loyal Satellite,
Yes.
like,
The ending,
you can
with
explain
the
it.
whole.
I remember you were like, I could tell because you were like, we did that, and then you just laughed for like 15 minutes.
Yeah. I think when in the band practice room, when we all know something is good, there's kind of like a laugh. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but when something is so good, I tend to like laugh and giggle because I know it's
There's
really
like a
good.
like positive buzz in the room.
Yeah, when Western Ed has kind of had a rotating door of a revolving door of drummers.
Yep.
So we had our first drummer. We were playing. There's another song on our album, Loyal Satellite. That's the last song on the album. I remember we all kind of wrote the end of the song. You could call it the coda or the outro together. And the way we just recalled all the musical themes in the song and how good it felt, I was like, that was another moment. I was like, okay, now we have something else that's really good. I don't know if you want to contribute to this.
Yeah, I love this.
I just like watching it develop. I was happy to be there.
I'm just happy to
I'm
be
just happy to be here.
yeah.
Happy these guys you met weren't murderers or something.
I mean, I've been
this is
in-
legit.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of bands before Western Education, and they really kind of all imploded as bands do a lot of times. So it was
Yeah.
nice to have like a concentration of songwriting, and we all have different influences too. So I liked how we all came together and wrote songs, and we saw it through to the end. So that's why I'm sticking around.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
And
such a. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, keep in mind, that would have been circa 2011 going into 12. That was
Yeah.
a while ago at that point.
Yeah.
Because it's those two songs, Loyal Satellite and Young Love, are the oldest songs on the album. They're two of the first songs we wrote.
Wow. I was gonna say, this is a great segue into kind of my next block of questions about that creative process.
Sure. Go
and
ahead.
now knowing that you guys started from not being friends and have developed that friendship, I think that's really cool. Can you guys talk a little bit about that process of writing songs? It seems like it's collaborative. I know some people are like, oh, I like to write on my own. I mean, do you guys collaborate a lot? What comes first? The lyrics, the music? Does it all kind of come together? What is that process like?
Maybe. Oh, I was gonna say maybe I'll start and you guys can just kind of.
I see a
work off
theme
that
here.
Again,
Yeah.
I guess. I was gonna say I feel like with us, you have to. The inspiration comes from I think two different places. For me, it's melodic material, whether there's a melody that I like to sing or George has brought in that he thinks is fun to sing, or a guitar riff or something that's fun to sing along to, something we can kind of rally behind and start building the song around. It's pretty rare for me to like strum chords on a guitar or like play chords on the keyboard and be inspired by that. It's usually melodic based. And some of the songs kind of came together collaboratively. Some of them were me writing most of it, George writing most of it, Will writing most of it. But I think it's different. But for me, it's always what's like a hook or a melody I can get behind and build on.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to say it. We all have a different style. We all write the songs, and a lot of the songs start with one person's idea mainly. And recently it's been one person's complete idea, and we edit it. But most of the time, Greg will have a melody that he wants to flesh out, and we help him flesh out. It'll start with something fairly simple, and it becomes more expanded. George will come in with an entire, complex, string of chords and maybe a whole arrangement. I'll probably have something on my computer that I play them, and that's my arrangement. So we all sort of have like a different way of working.
That is fascinating to me because I work in a creative field. Obviously, I'm in video production and film, and it's a similar-ish process, but the music stuff, I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to play these notes and go, okay, it's a song. I mean, that is wonderful that you guys can do that.
They go through the ringer. So, I mean, the song that someone starts out with was going to become pretty different than what it ends up with, because we all have to have our say in it. Greg has to.
We've all had our hearts broken. Musically.
Oh, talk about that. Talk about a heartbreaking moment. I want to hear about this.
I feel like there was never a moment, though. It was all well worth it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what it is? I feel like maybe it's not heartbreaking moments as much as it's like you have a song and you think the parts of it are really good, but then maybe other members disagree. You kind of have to take a step back and kind of hear what they have to say and kind of hear the new arrangement and kind of take time to ingest it too. It's not just like someone saying, well, I think this can be better and blah, blah, blah. Let's take a good example. There's going to be a new song we have an EP coming up. I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
And it's called Bobby. There's a longer title, but we've been calling it that as the nickname. And I had kind of the intro and most of the melodies, but then George came in and he ended up putting some guitar parts on it, which means I had to change around sort of the chord structure and the underlying harmony a little bit. And then we thought we had it, but then Will came in and he ended up changing the end of the arrangement too. So that was a song that I think is a good example of I had kind of the skeleton, but George added his guitars, which changed the music. Then you changed the arrangement of it. And I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but
I'm excited
that's
to
a
talk
good
about
example.
That.
Sorry, I was just going to add one more thing.
I'm too excited. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think now in hindsight, I mean, it would, because it's just hard to admit that something you did, because you're going to have your own personal bias, is not as good as it can be, because then you put time into it and you think it's ready. But again, that's your own mind and other people think differently. But what I want to say is I think we have a different standard of what we think something good is now, because now that it does go through the ringer and we listen back, it's just way more, there's a depth to it. I feel like before we used to just write a song, get it done, and then just get it out there. And I could just tell now, as we're growing to know each other as people and musicians, and we kind of collaborate on things, it just brings a new element to it that makes it really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're starting out, I mean, that's kind of the point. You want to get out there and you want to make something to have, you want something to show for your work. And then as you grow as musicians and creative types, you kind of start putting more love and care into those things because, you want quality.
I was going to say this.
Yeah.
If we're talking quality and that stuff, even if we're talking our first album, Let Your Secrets Out, we just nickname it Secrets. Even when we're talking songs like that, our standards for songs are really high. Like every song needs to be exciting and you need to be able to sing along to it. The guitar parts and the keyboard parts, everything needs to stick out. Like we don't just slop a song together and be like, yeah, it plays and it's kind of fun, whatever. Like our standards for like the arrangements and how fun and exciting it is, however you want to rate a song, was really high from the beginning, but it just has gotten better and better and better.
And that's what I noticed about a lot of your music is it's, well, not even a lot of it, most of it, all of it.
Yeah.
It's very upbeat, very sing along to type of music. Like that's the music you blast in your car and you're like, yeah.
Right.
I mean, not that I've done that,
Right.
to any songs that
Neither
you
have
guys
I.
have sung. And it's kind of awkward to be admitting that, but
Right.
I've done it. So talking more about that songwriting stuff, what types of stuff do you guys write about? Like where not what types of, but like where does that come from? What is the inspiration? I mean, is it video games? Is it real life? Is it pop culture? I mean, maybe I'm inspiring you right now.
Dude, right? Different things.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the more that I analyze my own music, the more that I think a lot of music that I write is very empathetic. So very rarely I've written it purely about me. I feel like I write it either, something happens or maybe something happens to someone else and I've written about it. And I feel like, sympathy and empathy are different things. I guess maybe we could talk about some songs on Secrets because, that's the album that's out. If we'll take some different examples, like we'll take a song like Peace, which is the first song on the record. That's about a car accident that I was in. So that was about me alone. Or maybe we take... a song like Look Away, where it's more of like a lighthearted song that I just kind of wrote about, every day you should wake up and try to own it and really get out of bed and be happy and that sort of stuff. If you guys want to go into different stuff, go ahead.
I mean, the two songs I wrote on the record, one of them I can't even remember what it was about. I think it was mostly the lyrics I wrote are just trying to go along with the melody and become like some sort of pretty poetry enough to elevate it. And I count on these guys to change things. Greg especially because he's has to sing it.
Yes, I have to sing it.
Yeah,
I have to sing the schlop, right? Yeah.
There are things that he said, well, I'm not singing this. I can't say these words.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Well, fine. I'm not the lyricist. So one of them, Ashes, which is my song, which again morphed into sort of all of our song, but it started out as something that I wrote. I didn't even write the lyrics for it. George wrote the lyrics for that song. So I've concerned myself more with arrangements and textures and stuff like that. Satellite, I wrote some of the verse lyrics too, but Greg wrote the chorus lyrics. And again, I think it's just, I don't know if there was any inspiration there. For me, it was, I think, some girl song or something like that. I can't remember.
Well, that's what I was wondering because you hear so many of these songs. Oh, it's about a girl. It's about a breakup. It's about, whatever.
You know what?
And
I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm going to bring this up. I almost feel, I'm not, how do I say this? I don't know if Let Your Secrets Out expresses this. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm almost so, I'm not anti-love song, but I feel like I try so hard not to write about them, or at least not write about them in very standard ways. So I don't know, obviously, because I'm not the only lyricist. Like George, contributes, a big part of the lyrics too. It's not just me. But I don't know what it is. When it came to Secrets or the songs that I contributed lyrically, I almost tried to avoid that on purpose.
I don't think we have any at all.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
That should be your ball game too.
This is for me, it's like easier to do than to talk about it. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just in the moment, things come to me. I think a lot of the times, the music kind of dictates what it's going to be about. I think a lot of it's probably subconscious. I think it's funny that Greg said that he writes about, I think some of it is just, kind of an extension of like who we are as people, in personality. I know Greg, he is an empathetic person. He always like tries to help us out in any way we can, any way he can. I'm messing up my words, but I don't know, but I just kind of do it.
I'll tell you one thing. My dad loves the album.
Oh no!
And
Go ahead.
I don't think I've said this yet. I don't know if this like has really any critical value, but he did say that.
Go ahead.
I love this album. I can't understand any of the lyrics. I just don't. I can hear him speak, but I don't know what it is. I think,
like he doesn't
I think it's
understand, or he can't like
understand what
physically.
Because I feel like my diction is really good.
I know as a dad, he's
Yeah.
speaking very clearly.
Greg was pretty loud. I mean.
I think it's the strength of the melodies. Honestly, right. He's focusing more on that, which I again.
Wait, what does he listen to that's like crystal clear vocals?
I know.
I feel like our album's pretty
Zeppelin, man. Yo, he's into it too.
Yeah, he's a classic rock guy, but it's still funny to hear him say that because it kind of threw me for a loop. Because then I thought about It's true. Yeah, I don't really think I've really paid too much attention to those lyrics either. But I'm not the singer; I'm the bassist. So.
Right.
I just gotta play my bass.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here, as you said
I'm
earlier.
just happy to be here.
That's not true. He said, "What did you call it, George? We're now the Wested OGs, right? Us three.
I think so.
With the revolving door of drummers. Yeah.
I know. What's up with that? I mean, you don't have to get into it if you don't want to. But what's up with the revolving door of drummers?
That's a tough question. Okay. I think it's a combination of stuff. Like our drummer Devin now, he's an awesome guy, great guy. But he's more of our studio player, session player, and he's been great. He's been awesome.
Yeah.
But if we're talking past drummers who are ex-Wested members, it's just been different stuff. We had when we were first starting. Honestly, I'll say it, our drummers were just bad and they couldn't play our music. But then we had our drummer Mark, who was with us for a long time, and I really appreciate him because when you're kind of slogging it out as a band in the early days and you don't know what you're doing, and you're taking crappy shows and you really don't know what's going on, I really appreciate what he contributed because he slogged it out with us for 3 years. He wrote Secrets with us. I call it Secrets, but let your secrets out.
I get you.
He wrote the whole album with us, and he chose to leave, and and we just moved on from there.
Yeah.
So
It's just, you guys seem like you're very easy to get along with, so it's just
sometimes. You know what? Here's what it is, though. I feel like we're easy to get along with, but we do take being a band and the songs really seriously. So when you see us, either you wouldn't see it, but if you kind of hear us or watch us bicker back and forth, or whether it's Facebook chat or anything, it's always because we want the songs to be better or we want the band to be better. It's not where I'm well, I don't like your dad. I don't say stuff like that. Well, it's we're really I don't think this part is that good, or I really don't think you're doing the right thing here for the band. Not that your moral choices in life are bad. No, it's just what you're doing for Wested, right? Or whether it's the song or whatever, just don't think it's the right move.
I love that and respect that because I think a lot of bands I'm 29, so I'm still young and hip, but I think a lot of these young bands, it's you let that kind of personal crap kind of tear you apart, and you're just we're just gonna put the song out and we want to be on stage and play a song. Where
Boo.
I respect that.
Enough.
I respect that high quality, that elevated, those elevated standards. It's kind of, I feel like that's rare. I really respect that.
I'm not going to say anything because I get in trouble.
As you just said, every drummer we play with was bad. First,
no, dude,
come on.
So bad. Well, actually,
How many? Did you play with a lot before me?
What?
Did you play with that many before? You made it seem like we had 12.
With drummers?
Yeah.
No, we didn't. I mean, you were there for all of them. But
I wouldn't say bad. I would just say not our style. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's okay. There's different.
no, I was gonna go off of something that Tiffany you said, George. You're funny.
Am I?
I had to stop doing this because you guys. I didn't realize how offensive it was. You said it was kind of surprising that our standards are really high.
Yeah,
sometimes
you guys are
I'm just gonna
young.
say this because it's funny. When we play live, sometimes I used to say this thing where I would say, it's really hard to get 4 bands together that are really good that all play on the same night. I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally telling everyone who's not on the stage tonight you're awful and you're really bad. And I should stop saying that.
Oh, I don't think it comes across like that.
Sometimes I guess it did because everyone told me to stop saying it.
Greg, you're pretty notorious for saying you got to filter yourself a little more.
Saying things you shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Maybe you should leave the room and
right?
and then come back later.
I feel like I'm so inoffensive, but no, I guess not. Yeah.
I think it's probably because you're doing it in a nice way. You're a very nice person.
I mean, you've only met me for 12 minutes.
This is true. This is true. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
This just slowly starts getting worse and worse for Greg.
Yeah.
At the end, he's just screaming vulgarities.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll
right.
ask you
Greg's
first.
really nice, but don't ask him about other bands.
yeah, don't
just
ask him about his drummers.
Yeah.
He will not be happy.
Yeah, go ahead. Next.
Yeah, next. All right, so speaking of bands, and I'm always fascinated about band names.
Oh,
Because
that's you guys, not me.
couldn't come up with a title of a movie or a song. I couldn't do it if I tried.
It's really hard.
So
Yeah.
where I'd be like, I don't know. I'd look around the room and be like, Orange Water Bottle. That's the name of my band.
I think that's a
I
band.
don't. Yeah, probably.
So how did where did Western Education come from? Does that mean
Will,
anything?
George, you take
Well,
it.
first I
Yeah.
will say that I don't even know that really a good band name exists. I think just people come up with something. and it just they embrace it, or it just becomes their sound. They just
And I feel like the
when you
music
think of,
kind of interprets your quality of the band.
pretty
name.
much.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think U2 is a terrible band name, but I do kind of like that band. So, and they're huge.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, U2. Oh yeah. I don't even think that the band name
Exactly.
is bad. Yeah.
Like after a certain point, once you listen to music and they have a special place in your heart, if you like them, it just
Yeah.
that's the name.
When it's on a tour poster with like 17 other bands, because you're a small band and you're playing all these shows, it's not as impressive as when you're like the headlining act and that's
Yeah,
your band
yeah.
name right up there. So it's all relative. But the band name was kind of a combination of me saying something and George pointing it out. I was going on some diatribe, some political thing, and I mentioned the word Western education, something like Western education is different than this, whatever, something like that. And George was like, "That's a cool name for a band." And I'm like, "Okay, put it in the pile." And we just never ended up thinking of something better.
And I hated it at
The
first.
end.
I was like,
Oh.
it's too long, it's not sexy. But then we just used it, and the acronym is WE, W-E, which is nice. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I think it's a nice
Too
little-
long.
nice
It's
little-
not
Yeah,
sexy.
Nice.
Yeah. We do get the occasional, protest message from people who don't really know what we are.
Oh my
Oh,
God, that
geez.
is so funny.
Oh, man, yeah.
We get messages from people in other countries that are like, "Tell me about Western education," or "What does that mean?" And we
Oh
always
my
just link our
God.
album.
Yeah.
It's like people from like African countries or like the Middle East.
Wow.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
They definitely just don't know it's a band page.
Do they ever respond back after they hear the music?
Yeah,
They're
some people are like, "I don't
"Oh,
understand."
Is this Western education?
We
Like,
always
maybe
just
they're
link the
trying to,
album.
like-
What else can we do?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Buy our shirt.
Yeah.
Buy our music.
Yeah.
Come support our band.
Yeah,
Oh my
here's our
God,
iTunes
you guys are hilarious. I love this. This is
No.
this is going at the halfway point here. This is going very well, I think. Thoughts, feelings, concerns.
Let's keep going.
I'm having
Nothing's on fire yet.
fun.
Just don't talk to me about other bands. We're good. 'Cause
I know,
I'm
I'm
very
like-
nice otherwise.
I'm gonna go through my list
Yeah.
here and scratch off some questions.
Me and George like so
Don't-
many other bands, but Greg is very, very picky.
Yeah. No,
It's
just
kind of
let's
interesting.
move on.
Yeah.
Before I get in
No,
trouble.
no. I want to
Yeah.
hear what like actual bands or like local smaller bands.
We'll
All I'm
listen
gonna
to
say is
so
everything.
much.
Next
Everything.
question.
Oh, do I want to incite this riot?
No.
No. Should
not
I?
a riot.
Should
Yeah.
I move on?
Greg, would you like to respond? No.
My next little block of questions here is kind of about the performance part and the fan base part. You guys have like 1,700 likes on Facebook. I think
like
that's
that.
pretty wild. I mean,
Really?
yeah. Just from so at HC Media Radio we have about 150 bands and artists, and I mean, they're in the hundreds, few hundreds of likes, but like 1,700. I mean, that's a lot for a local band. I mean, that's crazy.
Depend. I mean,
Well,
I was
in
gonna-
relation,
I was
yeah.
just gonna go on this for a second.
Yeah.
With us I think you're interviewing us at kind of an interesting time because over the past year and a half, we've done more national stuff. We've been down to
Yeah.
like Philly. We were just in Canada. We're doing 3 days in Canada in August. So we've met a lot of people like over the, I'm not gonna say all over the country, but different cities, places where we don't live, played some successful shows in different places.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of in a different place now. I feel like Wested now we're really trying to break through the national barrier. Like we've opened up for national bands, international bands on one-off shows, that sort of stuff, and we're just trying to do more of that. So when I hear like us and the term local band, is it right? I mean, yeah, but we're really trying to push through the national barrier, and that's something that I'd like to get to.
And I think also the number of likes, I think from the very beginning we were about content as well. So
Yeah.
we've had recordings, we've had photos done. I mean, we were very careful about putting ourselves out there, getting content, getting things online. We got stuff on iTunes and Spotify pretty early. We're on Pandora now.
Yeah,
I mean, these things can generate likes. I think we got more exposure because of that.
Yeah, and you guys have a wonderful little press kit that you send out. I remember when I first
Yeah.
got in touch with you guys. I mean, that is also amazing. I mean, again, so much respect for that. And I say local because we're in Haverhill and
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are from Lowell, so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
to me is local.
Well,
Like,
let me say this though.
Yeah.
By definition, are we a local band? Yes,
Yes.
but this is gonna sound awful, but I'm
No,
right. I'm 100%.
no.
I'm right. Now here we go. No, this is awful, but I'm right. When someone says, "Greg, do you want to go hear local music?" dude, I feel like local music has a bad connotation some places. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where, I mean, okay, we're part of the local scene. We're friendly with the bands and promoters, club owners. So, yeah, local music for me, I guess, means something different. But if I were to ask, like, a dude on the street, do you want to go see local music? The answer is usually no.
No one says, hey, do you want to see local music right now?
Yeah.
Just to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
Dude, what are you doing right now?
yeah, what are you doing tonight?
not presented like
And
that.
you know what?
but,
That might just be just kind of an aspect of maybe the Lowell scene that we're a part of, or maybe that's just that. Maybe, okay, if we lived in the Lower East Side of New York and there were the hottest, venues for local bands, maybe I would think local music in kind of like a higher sort of light where, I want to go see bands on Thursday, Friday,
Maybe even like
Saturday.
in Alston or something.
Yeah. That's true where, I live in Drake, where we're part of the Lowell scene is cool now, but maybe if we lived in Alston, Brighton, outside of Boston, maybe we'd be like, I don't know. I just feel like my perspective on the term local music would be different. But,
well, can I share something about I know this is your podcast, but I kind of had that vibe too. Again, I'm 29. I'm a little older. I'm a little out of that scene. I was kind of in into the newfound glory type of music. That was like that little punk rock stuff. And when I got hired here and they're like, oh, we have a radio station. I was like, what? I'm like, I don't want to listen. Why do I want to listen to that? That is.
There are a lot of bands. I'll say that.
Yeah, but there are a lot of bands.
Music
and I'm like,
is very open source.
And
I
I'm
guess
just
you would
like,
say.
none of local music, exactly that same vibe. Like local music, what the hell is that?
Right.
And then I started doing a radio show, my little radio show that I do every week. And I was going through the playlist and I'm like, oh my God, this is stuff I would actually listen to. Like I would go see this band. I would listen to this. So I think just people need to be exposed to that because there is some unbelievable talent.
It's not the local music that's the issue. It's the whole
people.
perception. Yeah.
And it is unfair because you guys are amazing. You guys are.
Thank you. You're amazing.
Like, you guys are kind of a cut above.
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
I was just saying. The thing about to speak to that, discovering music can sometimes feel like work because there are a lot of bands, and as you get more quote local, there's going to be a huge spread of bands and there's going to be a bunch of different styles, and how can you possibly get through them all? So that's kind of my feeling of it. It's
especially when you are especially when you are a local band or not like a huge band, a gigantic label who has all the advertisement money in the world. Like I'm not going to sift through hundreds of local bands to find one I like.
Oh, yeah.
How do I find new music? Okay, what's in the related things on YouTube? What's in the related Spotify things? And okay, we're on Spotify and Pandora and stuff. But if you're not compared to those big bands, people are never going to find you.
Exactly.
So it's really tough. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
When you brought up the press kit thing, I just feel like that's just more marks for our professionalism.
Yeah.
I wanted one place, here's our music, here are our videos, our photos, our bio. I don't know. With Western Ed, it's, are we a band? Yeah. Are we artists? Yes. Do we get emotionally invested in music? Yeah. But we take it really seriously as I don't want to say as a business because I sound, yes.
A brand, yeah.
Because I sound very, suit and tie label guy. But it is. I take it seriously, and I really hate when bands don't. I guess that's what I hate more than anything else.
So many opinions. No, again, I keep saying I respect you guys because it is, you need to do that. If you're trying to become something bigger than just a quote unquote local band, you need to do those things. Yeah. And it's, I think a lot of people don't want to put that effort. They just want to go and go, let's just go play a song. Let's go play a show and go drink beer.
And if people want to have fun playing music, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I hate you because you have fun playing music, but those bands that say they're ambitious but don't do anything and don't do anything right, or right, quote unquote, make steps in the direction to help themselves, I just don't get it. And next.
At the end of the
yeah, go ahead. Were you gonna say
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, the song's got to be good though.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta.
Song is
music.
king.
Content.
Because if you think, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, but there have been bands undeniably that have worked their asses off to get where they are, or that just got picked up. But I feel like if the music is really, really good and it transcends, it can happen either way. So I just try to find things that really do the trick.
All right, I'm gonna stop making Greg mad now because.
Oh no, I'm just I love this stuff. Ask me whatever you want.
I love it. Well, I really want to talk about performing and that whole thing.
Oh right. We were gonna get to that like 20 minutes ago.
I know. I went on a tangent as well. But let's talk about performing. I mean, you guys. I know you guys were in Canada. You just said you were in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia, by the way. So what? How? I'm like skipping around questions. Let's start at the beginning. So. What's kind of the coolest place you guys have performed
The coolest.
The coolest or your favorite
I
place that
feel
you've
like
played?
that changes, because like
I mean, yeah, as you go to new venues and new places, but like, you know
you know what?
date.
Because we didn't play in a great part of Philly, but the venue and the crowd there was really. It really depends.
Just the memory.
Yeah.
That was
really good.
interesting.
It kind of depends because when you're in a band, you don't usually get to see much of the city because you're there for like one day.
Yeah.
We're going to experience that more because we're going to Canada for 3 days this summer, or Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto.
Oh, cool.
We're not going to really get to stick around. We're going to kind of play and leave.
Yeah.
And I feel like, we went to Philly last year, and we didn't play in a great part of town, but the people in the venue and the crowd was really good, so I think of it as a good memory. Even though I didn't really see the best parts of the city, it kind of changes.
Yeah.
The place in Canada we played at a month or two back, I think that was one of my favorites. It was a very cool place, and it sounded amazing, which is important for me. And the bands we play with always play a role as well.
That's actually a really good point.
I like bands that compliment us. So when was the last time that we played a show with Red Gold Green at, what was the venue?
Brighton?
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
That
That's right.
That was an awesome venue, and playing with Red Gold Green was awesome. I thought it was really fun.
They're a
Everyone
band
was
from
happy to see
DC,
it.
and they're killer.
Oh, cool.
They're awesome.
I'll have to look 'em
I
up.
feel like for me, there's like, was there a question? What was the adjective used? Like the coolest show?
Yeah,
or?
the coolest venue,
Yeah.
like, the most memorable
For me, there's like two
place.
parts of cool. There's that the actual venue itself looks cool, like the infrastructure, the decorations, and I'd say Vermont was super sweet in that respect. It was like candlelit, and it had like a Baroque
wow.
thing to it. I love that. But then there was like cool where it's like the crowd was nuts and you had a good time. And the
Yeah.
funny thing is, I think some of our best shows were like in terms of the crowd, we're just at kind of like divey bars, like that All Asia show we played, and that was like years ago. That
Smaller
was
places are
insane.
always good.
I think a guy like kissed me on the cheek at that show. My amp fell, almost broke towards the end
Going
of the
back to
set.
local music, people that support it, I mean, they really come out and they do.
So yeah, they're cool for
Yeah.
different reasons.
Uncharted in Lowell, Mass is always really fun.
Yes.
I personally love playing
Actually,
there.
let's do the local bump right now. Uncharted in Lowell is a
Yeah.
great place. It's a new-ish place that is doing live music now over the past year or so. It's wonderful. It's
I'm
great.
so mad I missed the show you guys played. I think it was like, I forget who was there, Teen Ender or
Yes,
somebody else.
yes.
I'm so mad I didn't go.
Yeah, it's always a great crowd. You get pizza, there's beer, there's art in the walls, nice lighting. It's great.
Yeah.
I love all of those things. So on the flip side of this, what's some of the worst experiences? Because touring and
Oh
going to
my
these
g-
cities and dive bars, I mean, there's got to be some terrible
Okay, here we go.
things.
I'm going to bring stuff up.
I know, I'm going to
Cour-
make
of course
Greg
you
mad
are.
again.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
here I
go.
go. Here I
You know
go.
what? You guys can interject. I don't think we've had a total and complete disaster yet. There have been some bad ones.
Knock on wood.
But there haven't been any like, whoa, okay, the show's over.
Mm-hmm.
I think, okay, there are a couple that stick out in my brain. When we started playing our first shows, I was under 21. And the first venue that we played, it's going to remain nameless because it's still in business. I had to sit outside until our set, and it was January 13. Oops, that probably gives away where it was, if you can find it. It was January, snowing, cold as, I don't know if you can swear on this, so I won't. And because I was under 21, I had to wait outside until our set because I was underage. And I'm like, I will never play here again.
That
And keep in
is-
mind, that was our first gig, so I was like, oh my God, is this what music is
no.
like?
What have I signed
Just
up for?
rethink everything
And
you've
there was
ever.
a show, I don't even know if you remember this. There was actually
This isn't like VH1.
yeah. So no.
Did
All
the
right.
Killers
Wait
have
a
to
minute.
wait outside?
They didn't have
They
frostbite.
had to wait outside? No. Okay. There was actually a great show. It was Davis Square Theater in Summerfield. Is that Davis or I think it's Davis.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it.
So it's a cool venue. We played a lot of good shows there. I remember the stage was really cramped, and I was kind of whipping the microphone around, and I hit my face on your bass. I don't know if you remember that because you were kind of playing, and I hit. Ow! And like, I've never like fallen off stage or anything like that. I think that was the only time I like hurt myself. Did anyone else have bad memories?
Definitely like with me and equipment failure stuff.
Technical problems are always a nightmare.
I actually one occasion it was at the Brighton Music Hall and we were opening for the Ataris, and there were me and
love
Will.
the
They were like,
Ataris.
yeah, top of the heap. Like we
Wow.
were like fangirling hard because
Well, the Ataris is just that one guy and like his band.
yeah, Christopher Rowe, and he
But
was
he's-
doing his own merch, and like
Because he's
there's
a nerd.
our merch like right there, and I'm just sitting next to him like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
Boys of Summer.
Just sitting
Anyway, so we were opening that show, and for the life of me, I couldn't get my amp to work. It just nothing was going on. The tech guy came in. A guy from another band came in and tried to help me out. Long story short, it was a stupid thing. There was like a speaker cable in the back unplugged, which we all should have seen but didn't. So yeah, that like burned up like so much more time, and it was just stressful because it was a show I was excited about.
Because we're 5 minutes from starting our set, and we had to keep.
Yeah,
pushing back.
I've had pedals that just like got stuck, so it sounded weird. I don't know, tuning, it's just stupid stuff.
I think tech problems are always
Tech
the worst.
problems, yeah.
Like I've had, my keyboard get unplugged, or like
Yeah.
I remember we were playing Connecticut. This isn't like a big deal, but we were playing Connecticut, and I was kind of playing one of her interlude songs, and then it just turned off, and I'm like, well, I guess we're moving on to the next track.
No.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah. I don't know. Will, do you have any?
No, I'm pretty even-handed with the shows.
Yeah, I'm
like,
just happy to be
well,
here.
Happy to be here. No, I'm very picky about sound and how we sound, so it's really just about how I think we did that night, and we've had our ups and downs. There are shows that we really liked that we did well, and there are shows where I thought we didn't sound that great. But I really tend to remember my favorite ones, like places like Uncharted or Canada, more than the ones that I've mentally blocked.
Yeah.
To say
Which
my
is
own
why you
sanity.
can't remember them now.
Yeah, I can't
feel you.
remember.
They're buried deep.
I like the Brighton Music Hall a lot because we have a green room up there, which is nice.
I know there's no. Well, I showed you the green. You weren't here to see the green room. It is
I missed
wonderful.
the green room.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule.
Green
Brighton
rooms are very
Music-
cool.
Green rooms are cool. Brighton Music Hall is really cool. I don't know if any of you guys are into Say Anything, but I saw Max Bemis acoustic.
Is a Real Boy is
Yeah,
great album.
he did an acoustic show there, and it was phenomenal. It was amazing. So, and also fun fact, my high school yearbook quote was an Atari's quote. I can't remember what it is right now. It was the song about the Goonies. Don't remember what it is, but it was an Atari's quote. So
nice.
We did open for them. That was about a year
that
ago.
is so cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
to see a band that like I listened to in high school and now I'm opening for them is
Yeah.
always cool.
Yeah, that's
I could have went without the amp failure, but it was a good time.
I mean, that
The
band
embarrassment.
was kind of before my time. You guys are all amped for that, more than I expected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to them in high school, so
Yeah.
it's a huge thing.
Mhm.
Oh man, memories. So speaking of shows, more show stuff.
Sure.
Do you guys do any like pre-show rituals? How do you get pumped up? I mean, we know the professionalism. We know it's like you guys are a cut above here.
We don't really, but the one time we did, I think was awesome. So we were
You guys gonna bring it back? Bring it back.
The Rumble, 2014 April. We do you know what the Rock and Roll Rumble is? Are you familiar?
No.
So it's a music festival that's happened for the past 35 years. WBCN used to host it.
Okay.
It's a really cool event where you can only play once in your band career, and you have to get invited to play it. So bands like the Dresden Dolls played it, the Lemonheads played it, Morphine, they played it back in the day. So when we got invited to play it, it was a really big deal because we weren't even a Boston band, we're from Lowell. So it was a big deal. And I remember, I just think this is really funny. Everyone, like people do like NCAA brackets of what teams they think are going to win.
Yep.
Before the Rumble, every publication puts out a bracket, and every publication said we would lose in round one. How the festival works is it's kind of like 6 days of bands, and the winner from each night plays again, that sort of stuff.
So it's like a battle of the
Every
bands,
bracket said we would lose. I'm like, why? like, come on. And we're also like the youngest band in the Rumble by like a lot, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, the night we played, we were on last. It was like 11:45 at night, pretty late. And the band before us was the band that was slated to win. Like, by every publication, this band's gonna win the night. And I remember we were in the little green room at TT the Bears, and we all like put our like arms around each other, and we're like, you know what? I want to go out there and I just want to steamroll everybody. And so we went out there and we were killer, and we won that night, and that was the only time I remember doing a
that night.
pre-stage
Fun
ritual.
fact: that was the only moment in Rock and Roll Rumble history where the winner of the night made a like thank you speech. Greg literally went up
I didn't know
stage,
if I was supposed to.
dude.
I didn't know. I'd never been.
Well, couldn't you just ask first and see? You just went up like, I guess I'll do it.
I don't know. I didn't know what to do.
Why did your mind go right to that?
No, I know. What I thought was really. I shouldn't have said this, but I did. I was like, I got up there and I said, "Thank you guys so much. How's everyone's bracket? See you next week."
Oh, burn.
It was all in good fun though, but
I love
it was
it.
fun.
There were some snarky press comments the next day.
Sad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's fine. Do what you must. I've already won.
I don't care if we lose the next night.
It doesn't
we
matter.
won. What up?
Which we did.
That's fine.
Oh my
No, it was a
God.
good time. The festival's all. It's meant to be sort of like a festival meets competition, and it's all positive anyway.
That's good.
Cheap beer.
Cheap beer. There we
cheap beer.
go. Priorities. All right, so let's talk about the new album.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's.
sure.
So I know Facebook tells me you guys literally just started recording, like in the last week.
Yep.
yeah.
So how's it going? What can we expect? Is it
Sure.
gonna be fun?
we've been doing pre-production demos for the past like 6 months, kind of working out songs. How many? We probably wrote 18 or 19 tunes.
It's the first time we've ever gone into an album with pre-production demos. By the way.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing we're not going to be doing a full record. We're going to be doing what I'm calling a long form EP. We're doing it's going to be 7 tracks. Well, 6.5. It's 6 songs and an interlude.
Okay.
So we just tracked drums for real, like all the real stuff. So yeah, we're aiming for kind of an October-ish release date right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are some of the songs like? Is it more of the same? Is it a little bit different? Like, kind of what's the style? Where's it going?
We can all kind of talk about this, but I think for me, I wanted 2 things. We needed to develop as a band, but also have a very cohesive sound this time. Like if we're talking our first album, Secrets, all the songs are really fun, they're really exciting, but stylistically it gets a little bit spitbally, where you start with Peace, where it's kind of like a synth danceable track. Then we have I Can't Heal, which is punkier, but then Geneva's a piano track, then Rivals, which is punkier again. So it was as much as every song was really good, stylistically it was a little spitbally. So I think this time we really tried to have a more cohesive sound, while also kind of still, moving forward as a band and still,
evolving.
Yes.
What I think is we basically ended up taking the parts of our style that we like best and putting them into just 6 songs instead of writing 10 songs or whatever and just handing them all over to the album. We figured doing an EP would be better. We planned on writing 10 songs or 11 songs anyway, which we did, and then we kind of took the 6 we liked the best, and of those 6, those have been reworked a lot. So
exciting.
Yeah, it's stylistic. I think it's cohesive, not because it sounds like any one particular genre, but because it's actually all just what we like the most in our music condensed, and we really didn't spare it anything to the cutting floor. It's going to be really tight.
So it's going to be solid.
Yeah.
I'll just say that my guitar riffs on the CP are going to be nasty.
That's it. Next.
It.
No.
That should just be on the cover. Like, there's no picture, there's no photo, just nasty guitar licks.
Yep.
That's just the quote.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Nasty.
You'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be rocking out. All right. Okay. So I have never done this, but I am told that on these off the records they like to do a little lightning round.
I love that.
Oh,
Please
man.
go
Little
ahead.
lightning round type thing. So I came up with 1, 2, 3. I came up with like 5 kind of. Some of them are music related. Some of them are not.
That's wonderful.
So how does it work? Well, like really fast.
I'm gonna ask one question, and you guys each have to answer it.
Go ahead.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
how are we gonna? Is it just the normal formula, kind of
We're gonna
counterclockwise, starting with you?
Greg, Will, George.
Okay,
Let's do
you're
it.
at the end.
That's for
All right,
last. Let's do
lightning
it.
round. All right, so what's your favorite color?
Black.
Blue.
Red.
Wow, this is really lightning. All right, favorite post-show snack?
Steak pizza.
Beer.
I need water bad.
Okay, what's the last thing you watched on Netflix or any other streaming service? Can you not say?
No. It's okay. There is a indie director named Neil Breen, and he makes awesomely bad movies. And I just watched I Am Here Now, and it's awful. I don't recommend
Okay, I'm gonna watch it.
it. Please don't. Go ahead.
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, that's my favorite show.
It was a documentary. I forget the name, and it's the guy who threw a no hitter while on acid. I didn't finish the whole thing, but that one.
That
I know
one.
exactly. What you're
Unfinished,
talking
but that
about,
was it on Netflix, I believe.
Wow,
Um,
some interesting choices here.
I think it was just his birthday too. I don't remember what it's called though,
That's
but
an
that.
interesting-
I don't know, but that sounds awesome. Is there a whole documentary about just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Thunder. We're going
that's
slow now.
fascinating. All right. Favorite album
that isn't our own.
that isn't your own. It can't be your
Greg,
own.
come on, man.
Okay, the first thing, it's The Killer's Hot Fuss. It started the whole thing.
Probably Mezzanine by Massive Attack.
I really like Figure 8 by Elliott Smith.
I was listening to that the other
Any
day.
of these music. Well, I know Killers.
Never
I have
heard
to
of that, actually.
become educated. All right,
Really?
my
So I
last
borrow it.
lightning round song. What's a song? I know you've done a cover of Justin Bieber. What's a
Yeah.
song you've loved to cover?
The song that we would love to cover?
Yeah, you personally.
Song that I would love to cover?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really tough question.
You can't cover your own song.
I know.
Didn't you bring up that National Lampoon, the theme song.
Holiday
Was
Road?
that you?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to cover that?
Is that Holiday Road?
Yes.
Yes, Holiday Road. That would be really funny.
Please do that.
I mean, did you know what it is before you guys do?
ABBA too, right? Or
Oh,
like
doing Dancing Queen would be really
That's
fun.
yeah, see? See, you
You know,
know.
I really like ironic covers, like us playing like girl group songs. I think that's funny. Go.
My idea was I wanted to cover Ghost on the Dance Floor by Blink-182.
I always wanted to I think it'd be interesting to do a totally different genre and go retro with it. And we almost did this, but it never panned out. Maybe in the future. But I always wanted to cover "Let Me Love You" by Mario. That old, you know that song?
Yeah.
Or like a Cisco song, just
I
like
had to
something
just,
where it's like,
like,
why would you even do
song,
that? But
song.
kill it.
Yeah, why would you
you
even
know
do
what
that?
though? If we nailed
Oh
it,
my god.
maybe go
You guys
viral.
would totally kill Thong Song.
Oh, I don't
And
want to
if-
be known as that band.
Or do you?
You guys killed. Yeah, I mean,
You
I
guys
love
killed
ironic.
Music
Thong
biz.
Song.
I love ironically funny stuff. So
I love
sure.
that too. That's so. Well, thank you for participating. Can't even speak in my lightning round. That was
Nice.
wonderful.
Cool.
I wasn't very fast, but that's okay. All right, so I'm kind of want to wrap it up because we're hitting that hour mark. I don't want to keep
Keep
you
it
guys here
going.
forever. You want to stay here forever?
Yes.
All right.
I love questions. Whatever you want to know.
Oh, so cool. I wish I made more. So I kind of want to wrap up and kind of, we talked about the local music scene and how,
Sure.
a lot of people don't know about it and, I don't want to listen to local music, but knowing
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna keep bothering you.
that was a terrible segue for this question, but, if you guys could go back in time and give some advice to your younger selves before starting this band or before, getting into music, is there something that you would do differently? Is there something you would tell yourself like, hey, don't worry about this and, I don't know, don't hate other bands?
Oh.
I'll take it for. I would
Go ahead.
just say no because then it would just kind of ruin the whole. The point is to learn, and I feel like then I don't know what's the point of life if you're not gonna make mistakes, learn, kind of finally figure out what path you want to go on, and then that doesn't work, and then you change that, and then you're homeless. And no, I'm just kidding. That got off in a wild tangent. Long story short, no, because I don't know. I feel like you need to kind of go through
I
your.
love that.
You know what I mean?
You would go back in time and look at your younger self and be like, ha, you'll figure it out.
You like ghost on yourself. You'll be fine.
You'll
and then you
be
leave.
okay.
Yeah, I would just trip myself or a little prank.
I love it.
I would go right up to myself and just tell myself everything that's going to happen and just say, listen, buy more gear. And
Do it now before the student loans.
I know.
then I would show myself all the studio recording techniques that I didn't know then that I knew now, so I could just get all that over with.
I love
Screw
it.
learning.
Screw learning.
I'm just going to go back in time.
What would I tell my younger self?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That every band is special.
No, they're not.
All drummers are great.
Music make Hulk angry.
yeah. Greg doesn't like music. No, do you know what I would say? I mean, I think before, honestly, okay, here we go. Here's what I would tell my younger self. Don't feel embarrassed or the music you like no one else likes. Because if we're talking me in high school, nobody liked these bands. If I couldn't talk to anyone about the Smiths or Franz Ferdinand or New Order or these what I thought was really cool 80s college rock and the bands that revived that. I remember I had a Killers t-shirt. I was 12 and then I don't remember who it was. This kid was only girls like them. But when you're 12 you're like, oh no, but now I'm that's right, only girls that's awesome. But I would just tell myself everyone's awful and just keep pursuing this. And now West Ed is the best, so it doesn't matter.
On that note,
On that
all
note,
worth it.
yeah.
And kind of on the flip side of that, what kind of advice would you give to other bands or artists starting out? You're kind of in the, you're in the thick of trying to, go national and be really big, and obviously you've taken a lot of care to be professional and to, really create a brand. I know we don't want to talk business, but create a brand.
We can.
and a
Don't let me
persona.
talk too much, though. I get pretty bad.
But you know what? But what advice would you give to other people, kind of starting out? Maybe kids who are in, 8th grade, 9th grade, starting out.
What I would tell people is you should take. Okay, how do I say this?
Without
Besides being very grandstanding and say you need to take everything seriously. My real advice would be, honestly, the song is king. You need to really hold yourself to a huge standard. Is this really the best you can do? Is this better than what you hear on the radio? Is that even what you're trying to do? Whatever. Whatever. I mean, in the pop music world that I always think about it is what we're doing better than what I'm hearing on the radio and that sort of stuff. But I guess we've learned so much from like 2011, 2012, from, releasing our self-released EPs and doing our own photos and stuff. What I would tell bands is like, really make sure you're ready to go before you put something out. How do you release something properly? How do you put something on iTunes and Spotify? How do you coordinate your release so all the photos, the music, everything comes out at once and is right? I feel like, we just had to learn along the way. Yeah. And if I could transport back to 2012 and do everything perfectly, would Wested be better? Sure, but we just couldn't do that. So
that's great advice. I love that.
I would say that you should go into this being prepared to look at the band like being, your second part-time job.
Yep.
Because a lot of it
or
will
full-time
feel like
job.
Full-time
yeah.
job. Because you might have a job already, but this band is an investment. So you're not gonna make a lot of money doing it at first. You'll hopefully make some later. It'll be a lot of time and effort, but of course you should do it for the love. But it's work, so it's really good to be prepared.
I'll snap for
that.
that.
I would say two things. That
no,
I've learned
say one.
as
no,
I go.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna need to reschedule.
Yeah, just cut him. Cut his mic.
Yeah.
No,
I have that power. I can do that.
Quick, I gotta see where you go. The first thing I would say is that network. I don't even want to use a businessy word, but I would just say be friends with like other bands.
I wish I said that. You had a
just
good answer.
Good luck
make
now.
connections.
Wait, what do they say on Family Feud? Good answer. Good answer.
Because even if like it's not the genre you like or whatever, I mean, really, like you're all in the same boat. You're doing it because you love it. You have ambitions for it. You want people to hear it, obviously. So I would definitely say make a lot of friends in the scene, even if it's not in your genre or whatever, because that stuff, I mean, we're friends with a bunch of bands that aren't necessarily that sound like us, but I mean, it goes a long way, and it's kind of like a domino effect. And the other thing is just don't get discouraged, because it's very easy to, and I know we've all been, but I mean, at the end of the day, and we've seen it with ourselves and other bands we're friends with, when the going gets like really rough and you're just thinking, damn, why did I even invest all this time? Then something cool happens and it keeps you going, and it's just like a wild ride. Being in a band is like life.
Actually, can I say one thing now that
you said enough?
No.
Cut it. That would be a
Okay,
sick way to
alright.
end it right there, though. If you did,
you know
Just
what?
cut
Now that
off
you
Greg.
said that, you had really good answers.
Thank you.
Aw.
I think the worst. Okay, here we go. Here's my resounding piece of advice.
Okay.
The worst thing you can do is break the band up. Like when you said you think you get discouraged and maybe things are really either falling apart or not going your way. You got to keep taking opportunities and more doors open. Do not break the band up. There you go.
Don't break the band up.
Yep.
All right, you guys got anything to add? I don't have any more questions. I'm sorry. I wish I could do this all night because you guys are fun. You guys are fun to hang out with.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Having a blast.
Great. Am I
Great.
really?
Oh,
We need to
geez.
get out more often,
I
guys.
actually
right.
am required to say that. So
Oh, great.
anything you want to add? Anything coming up? I mean, we have the new album coming up.
Yeah,
and
I'll
any shows coming
Yeah,
up.
I'll say a couple of things. We're Middle East Upstairs. We're playing July 1.
Ooh.
Our new EP is coming this October. Maybe we'll keep the title secret for now. I think we're going to do a big reveal soon. But we're going to save it for now. And our new EP is October. We're playing July 1st.
Cool.
Anything else, you guys? Is that it?
I'm good too.
Good? All right, for another amazing Off the Record podcast, I'm Tiffany Began Stearns, and thank you, Western Education, for joining me
Thank you
today.
for having us.
It was a blast, and we'll see you next time.
See you. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye, Dad.
I know. I hope your dad hears this.